Hey friends, welcome to the inaugural HubSpot Top 5 with Sprocketeer. I'm so excited. We got more than 20 submissions, and I maintain my opinion that HubSpot admins are the smartest, cleverest people in the world. Thank you to all of you who submitted, and for all of you who haven't, we're going to do this on a monthly basis, so keep the things coming. I want to call out that a lot of the submissions are people doing really smart things in HubSpot with emojis. This is something that's never occurred to me. You can put emojis in properties, and that's a really cool way to color code different records inside of HubSpot, especially now that you can customize deal cards per pipeline. I saw customization on ticket cards as well. You can put those properties there, make it easy to see in a glance, things based on calculated properties or things happening in workflows, and it can just all flow through, and it's very visual, very cool. Saw multiple submissions on that, and it's relevant because in the 5th place for this top 5 is Chris Grant, who's taking advantage of the Close One report inside of Sales Analytics, the average time to a Close One deal, and making that the default close date, which I think is so smart. But when you see his deal board, you will see he is using this color coding trick also.
Forecasting is typically a big problem for companies, and one of the reasons for this is that the sales team are not great at predicting close dates. It's difficult, it's an inexact science, and as you can see from my dashboard, there's lots of deals where the deal health is showing as red, and if we click into one of those deals, we can see that the close date is significantly in the past. That's going to mess up all forecasting, and we're not going to have an accurate forecast. So if we go into another area of HubSpot, we can go into the sales analytics, and we're going to go into the deal velocity summary. And actually we can see, if we look at all data in this HubSpot portal, it takes an average of 176 days to close a deal. So we know that any deal that goes past that 176 days is likely to be lost, and it's getting more and more likely to be lost with every passing day. So what we can do is we can take that figure, 176 days, the average close time to close a deal, and we go over into the deal settings here, and we've got deal setup, and we can scroll down, and we've got apply a default close date to new deals. So I'm going to tick that box, and I'm going to apply that 179 days from deal creation as the close date. And that's basically automating the deal close date based on all the data across our HubSpot portal. So hopefully now what we'll see is that when reps create a deal, they're not going to be putting in close dates in 2 weeks' time. And it's quite likely that any reporting based on deals that have gone past their close date is going to be accurate. We can go into those reports and say, deal A has gone past its close date. What's happening here? It's likely to be lost. We probably shouldn't be forecasting it with any confidence. So in summary, reps are bad at adding close dates. So let's look into the analytics. Let's look into the detail and see what our typical close date would be, or how long from deal creation. And then let's just automate it. Let's go into the deal settings and automate it so that it's automatically set as 179 days from deal creation. And there we have it. Close date problems that are impacting forecasting, hopefully gone for good.
Awesome work, Chris. I love the way you're combining these different Sales Hub features together. In 4th place, we have Lizzy Butterfield, who set out to streamline deal creation for her reps, reducing the amount of information they have to enter in manually, which always gets a big thumbs up for me. But if you pay attention to her workflow, you'll see there are also image-based CTAs per rep that are getting placed into deal records, I assume so they can flow through into quotes. Check it out.
Hi HubSpot, my name's Lizzy, and I just wanted to share with you a workflow that I've set up around our deal creation. To give you a very brief bit of background, we have quite a complicated quoting system in that we are quoting in multiple languages, multiple currencies, all across the world. So we've got kind of 17 variations of sales quote. And we've also got some of our service team doing parts quotes in the system as well. And when we first went into HubSpot, one of the grumbles from my sales team was around the create deal form. Because of the way we do our quotes, I'd made it compulsory for them to fill in a lot of fields so that the right things were pulling through on the quotes. And they complained that it was taking them too long. And I had a look at it and they were right. There were a lot of fields that every time they're clicking the same thing for that individual. So I went and thought about it, and it's a bit of a beast of a workflow, but I've built a workflow that essentially takes away around about half a dozen clicks per deal form for the sales team, which sounds really minor and is probably only saving like 30 seconds per deal, but obviously adds up over the course of time. So what I've done is I've got it to look at the HubSpot team, and then per team there are certain things that are always the same. So I've got it to set those items, and then it looks at the deal owner, and we've got a couple of CTAs per deal owner as well, so it then sets the CTAs for them. So as soon as they create the deal, which is now just very simple, a couple of clicks, then the workflow runs in the background and it fills in all the extraneous information for them. And where we've got multiple teams, so in America, for example, we've got their parts are also quoted out of HubSpot. So where that's being done, I've got the parts quote set up correctly as well for them. The only thing to be cautious of, when I set up the triggers for my workflow, I made sure that I put the create date as being after the date this went live, so it didn't go and backfill all of the historic deals. So hope that's helpful, and thanks for watching.
Thanks so much, Lizzy. Up next is Michael Peach. Now, this one I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer to. We recently released the ability to delete contacts using workflows, and I was worried that people would use this and go crazy and accidentally delete contacts they didn't mean to. Michael's team has turned that exactly around and locked down the ability to delete contacts and use this workflow to implement an approval process. Check it out.
Hi there, my name is Michael Peach from Salted Stone, and I'm just going to walk you through our contact delete request flow that we have built for one of our clients. So the premise here is that where you want to have an approval sort of workflow in place when someone puts in wants to delete a contact, so that in essence admins can have oversight over those contacts. So you can remove the ability to delete and have it go through an approval process. So what we did is created this delete request section. All you need to do is come in here as a sort of non-admin, select that yes, you want to delete. You select a reason for deletion, and then provide some additional details such as this. Contact requested to be deleted from our database, and I can click save. What this will do, this triggers off a workflow that actually is triggered by those three properties being known. It then sends, as you can see here, the contact running into the action, sends a contact delete request notification email to the admin of the portal that we've set. Here, that email has a bunch of information. I'll quickly show you what that looks like here. So that comes in, sort of said the owner of the record who requested it, their reasons and stuff, and then a link here, which is a custom link, which will open up this form, which pre-populates with all the information about the delete request, and then the ability for the admin to choose yes or no. If they select yes and save, it'll do one thing, or they can click no and they provide a reason. By clicking yes and submitting the form, it actually triggers that consumer to then, or that contact to come into this approved contact deletion is known. If it's yes, it comes through here and it uses the new delete contact workflow action to actually delete them from the database. And if it's a no or a denied, it'll send an in-app notification with the reason that was provided on the form. And that's what we've gone and built.
Awesome work, Michael Peach. In second place, Shadab Khan. I love this. So this is exactly the kind of thinking I expect HubSpot admins to have. You surprise me in the ways you use features. He is doing crazy things with conditional sections.
Hey team, so let's talk about CRM user experience for the end users, i.e. our revenue teams. So basically, I've seen a lot of instances where this left side section is totally abused and full of properties and bunch of different sections that are like not needed and not used, so that kind of stuff. So the solution is, if you have enterprise hub of sales hub or service hub, then you can leverage the conditional section and use this solution maybe. If so, let's say we want to see the size and financials for this particular company and the source or the location information, let's say for this case. So let's save it and let's do a refresh. So now we have these two sections. So what we are doing is we are providing the ability to the end users, the non-admins, the sales people, marketing, service people, the ability to control their left side view without fiddling with the settings and stuff. And they can do it on individual record level with just a few clicks of button and on individual record. So if for company, some other company, they want to see certain other different sections, they can have that. So that way they will have the right information at the right time, and they won't be bothered and irritated by all the other information that they don't need at that point. So that's one. How to set this up? So it's fairly simple. When you go on to the record customization on the left side bar, you just select the section, make it a conditional section, and use our controller property. It's a multi checkbox property. So if you are using a drop down, then you will be limited with one. So you have to use a multi checkbox property, and then select the checkbox to map that condition out. So I have mapped each of the condition based on the property value. And if you're having new conditions in, new sections in, you just need to add a property value for that particular condition, just like this. So fairly simple. Second, on an advanced level, what we can do is we can provide conditional security to certain people based on CRM data. So let's say if you're pulling some lists or something from ZoomInfo or seamless.ai, and you want to map, you want to just show the territory wise, maybe US states wise or country wise. So based on that, you can make this property your controller property to private to admins only, and then in the automations you can populate the property dynamically based on whatever conditions and logic fits your business need, and based on that you can populate the conditions automatically. That could be your different controller property other than this one. So here we are on our admin dashboard. So to add on to that section, conditional sections, so we can also track the section usage based on that property count, the property values count, and based on that we can take certain decisions like making a sections permanent if that's like being used across various teams, and we see a lot of usage, a certain threshold that we can internally define, we can use that as well. So that would be an add-on.
Thanks so much, Shadab. And now, in first place, with a video that's not only really well produced, but has a lot of HubSpot content that's actually way over my head, but that nevertheless I think many of you admins will be able to take and replicate and run with, we've got Kristeen Romero talking about reporting on deals.
Hello, Kristeen from Oxygen here. So the problem I've been trying to solve is creating more accurate revenue reports for our company. So right now, our deals are a mixture of one-off payments and recurring payments. With HubSpot's existing MRR tools, it's not possible to take into account the one-off payments when you're creating reports. Also, you cannot forecast based off of MRR for some reason. When you want to forecast your monthly recurring revenue mixed with your one-off payments, you would have to split your deal into multiple ones based off of when the invoices go out. To do that manually is going to be super time consuming and also prone to data entry errors. And how do you even manage activity logging at that point? I had to create two different pipelines. One is kind of maintaining our original pipeline. The second one is specifically for MRR forecasting. It has the same stages, it has the same probabilities and all that other stuff, just that it gets automatically populated by a custom workflow with some custom code. I have some fields here that triggers the creation of these deals. Here you can specify the recurring revenue, when the first invoice goes out and when the last invoice goes out. Then we have this very important field here that calculates the time between these two, reformats it so it's in months, and then also recalculates it so it is the actual number of invoices that goes out. And then we have some fields over here that creates the one-off payment deals for you in the MRR pipeline with the right close dates. We have some workflows in the background as well that basically helps with matching this stage to the stage in the other pipeline and calculates the total amount of this original deal based off of these so that the amounts are both the same on both pipelines. So this is the workflow that creates all the deals for us. It's triggered every time any of the properties are updated. When this gets triggered, it will go through a few logic branches to determine whether to create recurring payments or if it should just create the one-off payments for you in the MRR pipeline. Now, you might be asking, though, if this is triggered every time there are updates, wouldn't that just create way too many deals for the forecast? So to get around that, I have made it so that every single deal that gets created stores the parent task ID. We have some custom code that runs before the creation happens that searches for any existing deals that match the parent ID. And if something matches, you clear all the deals out and then create new ones with the correct information, the correct close dates and stuff like that, so that the amounts and also the dates are accurate between the two pipelines, and we can create that accurate forecasting report that we wanted.
All right, that's it. That's our show. Thanks so much to everyone who submitted. Congratulations again to the winners. For all of you watching this, please feel free to submit the cool things you're doing in HubSpot to our next contest. We'll be running this on a monthly basis, and I will be giving praise to the top 5 each month. See you next month.